Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. Hi, Dana.
Hi, Steve.
How are
Happy
you?
birthday.
Oh, thank you. You remembered.
I did. I remembered. Of course, it didn't hurt that you said it on the video that you posted today, even though when you said it, it wasn't your birthday,
That's true because I very cleverly recorded that video several days ago.
as you do,
As
you
I
big
do.
shot, you. Shine,
Ah, yes, this little
shine.
beauty here. So, yeah. So, how have you been?
Pretty good. I
Yeah.
mean, all things told, today is going. I did have two students who got marked absent when they shouldn't have been, but I just
Boo.
emailed attendance and they took care of it, so it's all good. And the reason they got marked absent when they shouldn't have been was because I was not at school.
Because you had the day off because you had every doctor's appointment known to man today.
But then they switched them. So and then
Oh,
this
that's
one
right. Yeah.
conflicted with that one, so I had to take that one. And because this one had to take precedence because I had to get a filling, so that one had to go to like June. So I didn't have all the doctor's appointments. Besides, I don't have to go see the oncologist anymore.
Which is good news, just, all around.
Definitely.
Just all around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have
Um,
heard that you spent your day productively
Sort of.
talking to people that you cared about
Yeah,
and
I saw. Yeah,
watching Godzilla and yeah,
I saw. I get. I did.
and reviewing comments.
That's true. Which I have to. I'll. Yeah. Which I haven't done for a few hours. I should probably get back after we finish our show. I should probably review a couple. Maybe have my laptop with me while I'm watching wrestling tonight and review some comments while I'm watching wrestling.
It's
Um.
on tonight.
Tonight. Oh, this is. It's one of those things. Like it just so happened. All of these cool things just randomly fell on my birthday this year because you and I are doing our show on a Wednesday, and that's my
Mm-hmm.
birthday's on a Wednesday, and we're watching a Deep Space Nine episode. So ka-ching! And tonight on AEW is the big blood and guts match, which for those of you who are like old school wrestling fans, if you remember War Games, the match that they had in the NWA and then later WCW, where it's two rings side by side and they're
Uh huh.
enclosed with a
Yeah,
cage.
you told me
Uh,
about that.
yeah, I told you about but in AEW they're doing it for the first time and they're calling it Blood and Guts because they can't call it War Games because that's trademarked by the other company, um,
As you do.
as you do. But yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that. Just so happens to be happening on my birthday, and yeah. Earlier today, I got a visit from my dad, and we hung out for a little bit, and then Jason called me to wish me happy birthday. And we talked about the hypothetical dark past of my family, which was really funny.
Oh, was it in was it related to Monday's video or just in general?
No, unrelated to Monday's video, Jason, because and you've been in on it because record the podcasts with us. Jason will sometimes just sort of go off on like a flight of fancy, like a hypothetical scenario in a conversation, and sometimes
Yeah.
it gets really,
And you just
really
follow his,
dark.
you just go down the rabbit hole with him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it gets
Well,
really
not
dark.
that, but it can go from not being dark to just taking that turn into just like, oh
Oh,
wow,
like just
we're there.
breathtakingly, like, oh
That's
shit.
where we are now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so he was saying like, because I live the house that I'm in now used to be my grandmother's house, and I think I've mentioned that a time or two in videos, and we were talking about that, and he said he made some joke about how like if you're when you're going through your grandmother's stuff, if you find just like a garbage bag filled with baby shoes, like don't even ask, just tie it up and throw it in the truck, just throw it away, and don't even bother shaking the feet out of them. And I was like, whoa, that got dark.
That like that level up. That is so
So my
Jason.
granny's a serial killer. Holy shit. It was
You could,
hilarious. So
Sarah, you could, I promise you. The only reason that I have long hair is because I don't care enough to make an appointment at like a haircutting place and go and get it cut. I don't care enough. It's like, it's like literally when I'm getting ready for school, this is what I do.
yeah. And you're so good at it.
Well,
Like you have all that hair and you can wrap it up in like fucking 5 seconds. Like it's
I don't think so. I think it's more like 10.
okay. Well, I'm giving you a little bit of credit.
Er, Now, see, I take a little bit more time. I'll smooth that. There you go. sometimes just, for funsies, I'll part my hair first, and the part, if I'm careful with it, the part will show up. There you go. It's
Look at
off the
you.
face. It's out of the way. No nonsense. And this is how, when we did Zoom auditions. So I've got
You've got a show coming
starting
up
tomorrow. I've got a show. It's finally but I mean, the auditions were a while back. Yeah, see, it's super easy. Ponytail works as well. My hair is long enough though that if I put it in a ponytail and I'm sitting, it'll catch sometimes, and that's
it doesn't really do you much good. Yeah,
the bun. Well, that's why it's the length it is, and why it's been this length for several years now. Because when I sit, I break it. So I don't have to cut my hair because it kind of is self-cutting at this point.
Yeah.
By just me not taking care of it. But yeah, so this is basically the look that I had. I think I switched out. Are they here? I think I switched out my glasses for. Yes, I used my Sign glasses. For they're doing A Little Princess, which is about this little rich girl who goes to boarding school, and the headmistress doesn't like her and thinks she's a spoiled brat, when she's actually a very nice little girl. And then her father dies, and she loses all of her money, and so the evil teacher puts her to work. And I auditioned for the evil teacher, and I wore my spectacles.
Yeah, look at that.
So
and of course you got the part.
No, this is not parted hair. This is just straight back. Yes, and I got the part.
Of course you did.
You have nothing. You are nothing. I don't know, something like that. I think I've actually got the monologue that they had us read, because I was like, oh man, that's just
chills.
That's brutal. Yeah,
chills.
It's so fun.
So
Sarah, you can grow it out. It just takes, all you got to do is wait. It happens. Yeah.
And Sarah, you're right. I do not have long, beautiful hair either. I keep mine cut very short.
You do, however, I mean, I could do this, but it wouldn't be the same.
I can tell. That's not really a beard. I can tell.
Really not. And then bleh. See, and some people 255 AD, sensory issues. It's just a matter of preference. It does take time. I remember when it first started growing past, like, I don't really notice it when it gets past my shoulders, but then once I can feel it, like, past my elbows on the backs of my arms here,
right?
Like if it brushes against me, it feels like it's not, like, it's interesting, because I guess even after I'd had it, really short, because it fell out when I had chemo, it went, it still feels normal, like on my shoulders and stuff, but then when it goes on the backs of my arms, on the backs of my forearms, it's weird. Norman Buchwald, Dana better be watched out, or I'll become the next storyteller.
From the episode.
From
the episode we're going to watch.
I will get that reference afterwards. Okay. And then 255 AD, I think you asked who the other people are in my apartment. That would be my husband and Isabella, who is not related to us, but who lives with us.
And it's not an apartment, it's a house, okay? Get it right.
Well, I mean, we got white walls and ceilings, so it looks kind of apartment-y. Francis Hodgson Burnett, Cardinal Doomsday. Also wrote The Secret Garden. Mick is Quagmire wants to know, what time will we start watching the episode? No telling.
Probably pretty soon. Pretty soon.
Twigs and fine hair. Well, I mean, there are things that you can do with fine hair if you it happens. My hair's actually, it's still pretty thick, but holy smokes, when I was younger, I had like ridiculous, like Hermione with the wig, only mine wasn't a wig. Like, Steve, that photo that you have of me,
I remember, yeah.
I mean, like, seriously, I've got like the wedge going on. It's ridiculous.
It was amazing. It was, yeah.
Thank you. It's very.
I was quite. I mean, I'm fond of your hair like it is now too, but I was quite fond of it back then the way it was too.
So I'm.
Yes, Joe, we were waiting for you, buddy. We were waiting for you.
We're just starting out talking about our day, so
Yeah,
and it being Steve's birthday and all.
And yeah, and Dana, just because a couple people in the chat have mentioned it or hinted at it, and Sarah kind of just outright said it. The Storyteller is one of the episodes of Deep Space Nine that doesn't have the best reputation. It's often listed as one of the worst episodes. Again, I don't think it's that bad. It's kind of like a move along home situation. Like, I think the episode is fine. It wouldn't make my top 10 list or anything, but it's not like bad. But some people think it is. So we'll be curious to see what you think.
And Radical Bacon says that Brian must suffer. All right.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're getting into talking about the episode.
A very mild suffering compared to what he goes through a little bit later. But yes, he does have to suffer a little bit.
Yeah, Cardinal Doomsday it's the same author. And they're both in the public domain. So I mean, it's probably one of the reasons why my local theater is able to afford to do it, because no
licensing fees. Yes.
Well, they probably do have licensing fees for the play, but it's probably like anybody can write a play based on so they can just get one that's not real expensive.
Yeah.
So all right. Well,
okay,
why are you it's doing the thing again where it just jumps around? Okay. All right.
We can figure it out before we hit play.
Okay. Promise?
Yes, of course.
Okay. I think I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah.
So, and just for everybody else, we are watching The Storyteller, and we're going to be starting at 0 as usual with Deep Space Nine, which is also on Netflix is -4541, and that'll be the time code up top that'll be counting down. So.
Okay. Well, I mean, Sarah, you're doing this with us, so you can complain all you want, and we will cheer you on. I hope you have pizza. So.
Absolutely.
Yes, you can 100% teach if you're sleep deprived. It sucks, but it's possible to do. It gets harder, and I'm very sorry.
Wow, Sarah, you really don't like this episode.
So that's okay. That's perfectly okay. And I mean, apparently you know this episode, unfortunately, well enough that you'll be able to tell what we're talking about. So I'm sorry.
Sarah doesn't like this episode so much, she is actually going to watch one of the best episodes of the entire series just to balance it out.
Well, all right. Well, I guess let's go for it.
Let's do it. All right.
Count us in.
Everybody get ready. I'll count us in. I'll give us a 3, 2, 1 play.
Great leader.
And have I showed you the plaque?
Once or twice.
Well, I thought maybe. Just randomly texted you pictures of it in the middle of the day. Hey, have you seen my plaque? Unsolicited plaque pics. I'm always sending
the nice plaque, not the.
Yeah, no. Well, I sent you one of those, but that was an accident. As I said, I thought that the other camera was on.
Let's go.
Okay, everybody get ready. We're gonna watch this episode. And 3, 2, 1, play.
Woohoo! Also, the pizza cake.
Did you just woohoo the station log? I love that.
No, I woohooed. I said pizza.
You woohooed your pizza.
My pizza. I woohooed the pizza. I can't. Oh.
Not his village.
No, I saw that one coming.
He's suffering already. Chis Kringle, that's a great point. Can't Bashir fly his own shuttle? You would think. But that would destroy the premise of the episode.
What, O'Brien suffering?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but is it your first rodeo? That's what we all want to know.
Do they have rodeo on Bayshore? They must have something like it, right? A child?
Oh, okay. It's like, were they not expecting this visit?
Well, they figure she would be, an adult. Because it's one of those delightful things about Star Trek shows where, like, even though there is instantaneous video communication, and you would have thought people would have worked all this out way ahead of time, you can still
Like
have
they
these
would have
scenes where,
seen her face.
yeah, like someone can step off a ship and like the lead characters have no idea who the hell she is, even though she is their scheduled guest.
Mm-hmm. Sarah Scott, apparently not.
Some random geek ageism. Yes, it's terrible. Even in the 24th century. It's horrible.
No, I think it's more like experientialism. Oh, new guy.
And Radical Bacon has a good point. Generally, you don't want to fly alone if you can avoid it, which I suppose would count even in Star Trek. Although we have seen numerous instances of characters taking like shuttlecraft missions by themselves, like poor Geordi. But maybe that's why they made that rule, because Geordi kept taking missions by himself and getting kidnapped.
See, that's why you don't cross the Yukon by yourself. Your dog does not count.
Harrison Ford.
They wrote a whole short story about this. Aw, Sarah Scott, thanks for joining us. We're getting lots of, beauty shots of the station. We're in the intro.
We can meditate, we can meditate on the soothing opening theme song. Created by a bad person and a good person.
There are no good people, Steve.
Oh, well, there are better people than worse people, I guess.
That's true. His face.
His face is amazing.
He looks like me reading Pride and Prejudice.
Ah.
You just did, dumbass.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
How honest can I be? Fucking eye roll. Oh my god. Oh, Chief, you naughty little minx. Like the calendar? And I shall call you Miles. Well, I want one of those tricorders. You can beam down someplace, wave it around for 5 seconds, and immediately tell that there are no pollutants in the soil. Our village is in jeopardy.
That's kind of weird.
Baby.
Why did you start singing that?
Huh?
Why did you start singing that?
Our village is in jeopardy, baby. Ooh. Oh, this is one of those Star Trek things, isn't it? Like,
Oh.
thank you very much. He was not a fair man. And some kiwi strawberry Snapple for the kid.
Good for you.
Yeah. Had that one coming, Quark.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm still charging her for that drink. Excuse me, we're looking for the Star Wars universe. I'm chucking marbles. We're just demonstrating how unsafe and pointless these safety rails are, Odo.
A girl. They're not Twi'leks though, David Drake. They're, I guess, monoliths.
That's yeah, right. That's the one. See, those safety rails are ridiculous. Look how low they are. I mean, I know Jake is tall, but they're low on Nog even. Oh, this isn't going to end well. Nog? Nog? Oh, man. Sarah, that episode is later. I can smell
His
him from
aura
over here.
is off.
His aura is off. I must balance his chi.
The stubborn guy on the moon.
Which is another really good episode. Don't you have to pinch my ear or something? Get out.
Oh boy, he's going to be the next one to stay, isn't he? Uh-huh.
No, that's the worst kind of organ failure. Well, Garrett, I know that and you know that, but somebody should tell the Syrah that. Oh, cool.
Dun, dun, dun.
3, 2, 1, pause. And I paused at 32:35 remaining. So that's where we'll pick up when we get back into it in a minute. So yeah, the sort of I guess our first Bashir and O'Brien episode.
Our first. Oh joy. Woohoo!
And so actually, someone in the live chat mentioned, oh yeah, Charles Chapman says, I just noticed O'Brien isn't wearing his special non-commissioned officer pip yet. There's a very convoluted history of O'Brien's rank insignia, and I actually really enjoy it because it just it's one of those on-screen reminders that this is a fake show. You shouldn't get that excited about continuity errors. It's a fake made-up show. Because O'Brien is established pretty clearly in Deep Space Nine as a non-commissioned officer. I think you can sort of deduce from dialogue clues that he's a chief warrant officer would be his actual rank, but he's non-commissioned officer or chief petty officer. And I think they introduced that, and they introduced that in TNG at some point when they start to develop O'Brien's character a little bit to sort of set him up to move to Deep Space Nine. But before that, we always see O'Brien wear 2 solid gold pips on his collar, which is a lieutenant's rank. So if you just look at him and throughout TNG, you would assume he was an officer and was a lieutenant. But then they sort of decided, nah, let's have him be a non-commissioned officer, and they just changed it. And then eventually, and then they had him wear the open circle, like the black insignia pip on his collar, and they said, and which is also, I think, the insignia for Ensign Junior grade, which could be kind of confusing, I guess. But they had O'Brien wear that for a while, and then they gave him like a little badge thing that he wears on his collar that's like completely different from what the non-commissioned officers wear, which makes more sense. But it's just the sort of thing that it was never explained. It was never retconned in terms of like somebody saying anything about O'Brien's rank. They just changed it, and it was different. And I like that.
You're so cute when you go on about nerdy things.
Thank you.
It's adorable.
Thank you.
Just like
I am so glad.
I find it amusing. There was pips and there was something else about a badge or something, and I'm just like, okay, I'll just take your word for all of it, even though none of it makes, I'm just like, I mean, it makes sense in a general sense, but I don't really know about like pips, stripes, badges,
And Garrett, I think you're right. It was established in season 4 of TNG because I think it was Family, the episode where they sort of take a break after they get Picard back from the Borg and they're back on Earth. And Worf's plot in that episode is his parents coming to visit, is his adopted parents, and Worf's father like shakes O'Brien's hand and he's like, I would recognize another chief petty officer, So I think that's where that is established. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go into some minutiae as well.
Please,
yes.
please.
Yes.
I would love for you to do that.
Because John Gingrich said the Grignac. Oh, I mean the Dalrock. But I will point out that most of them call it Garignac. But Sigourney Weaver calls it Gorignac.
Interesting.
Yes. So I don't know when they decided what, but and then 255 AD asked me a question. What would you do if the principal called you into the office and said, "Answer me honestly, do I
Oh,
annoy you?"
oh boy.
Yeah, sorry, 255 AD. It took me a minute to get to it because Steve was going on about like buttons.
Dana, it's my birthday.
That's true, and that's why I humored you for
I
so
totally, I
long.
can't use that excuse next week, so I'm going to ride that fucker this week.
As you do,
As
as
I
you do.
do.
Next week you can just still say that it's my birthday month.
That, yeah, I could. I could say it's my birth month. Dana, come on.
Um, I, 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 I would not know what to say. I'm like, I would just, yeah, I think O'Brien had the right response. Excuse me?
What?
But in fairness, though, that's a different situation because, like, oh, yeah, I mean, they were in the shuttle together, for like 2 hours,
Right.
and O'Brien wasn't talking to him. Whereas, like, if the principal calls me into her office to ask me that question,
Yeah, that's different.
The situation is not quite parallel there.
Yeah.
It would be more like if we were chaperoning a field trip, hadn't said a word to each other at all, and she came out and asked me that. I would probably say, you know how I feel about you. I disagree with you on significant, instructional strategy, values. But you've given me, these are your expectations. I'm okay with following them. And I think I truly believe that you care about what, that you are doing what you believe is best for the students. And I think that's important. I value that as
Very
well.
nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice.
I don't always agree with you, but I don't always agree with you, but I think you mean well. And, I'm cool with that. Also, she's very passionate about, supporting the students and doing what she thinks is right. I'm like, right there with you.
Yeah,
Although
I guess
sometimes that's what causes the problem. We're both very passionate about doing what we think is right. And so when we don't agree, it's a challenge.
It is. I guess it's given the alternative, it's much better to have, like, especially in a job like teaching, it's much better to have a conflict with someone who is at least very passionate about the job, as opposed to someone who is like completely just checked out and doesn't care, and it's just kind of, anyway.
I mean,
Well, go ahead.
it also depends. Like, if I had a principal who was checked out and didn't care, then I could just do my job.
Yeah.
It wouldn't, especially since I'm not the sponsor of a club. I don't need permission for a whole lot of stuff that I do, like field trips. I don't need signature on a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
Just like, I guess if I have like a doctor's appointment, the principal is supposed to sign off on, absence forms and stuff. But I mean, it wouldn't be a big deal for me. I wouldn't need a whole lot of permission.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, unless they're, completely inept. And I mean, not doing their job.
Right.
That's a really low level. I don't need a whole lot of, interaction with the principal. I just don't have a lot of. I'm not doing the yearbook anymore. There was a lot more interaction with the principal and saying, hey, I need funding for this, that, or the other thing. I mean, because anytime I had a purchase order, even though it came from our funds, I still had to get it checked off.
Yeah. Now, before we get too further into things, I do want to, because Sarah Scott had a request.
Yes, I saw that. Go for it.
So Sarah, note the time code of this part of the live stream, so you can just skip straight ahead to this point when you're showing it.
Or you guys can watch,
just watch the whole thing and be like, what a surprise. But yeah. So Kara, happy birthday. And that's coming straight from lovely Swearing Man. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Almost the
Or,
perfect birthday, because it's 1 day short of the one day past the perfect birthday. So
but shouldn't you swear about it though? I
ha-
mean,
happy
you're.
happy fucking birthday, kid.
Oh, Radical Bacon warns us that there isn't a time code on live streams.
Um,
Isn't there? Like, doesn't it still count how far you were into
if
the
you
video?
watch the archived version tomorrow, there will be.
Okay.
When it's over, when the live stream is over, you can go
Like,
back
go
and
back and kind of
it's
figure it
like any
out.
other. It's
Yeah.
like any well, it's like any other video. Once the live stream is over and it's archived, it's like any other video. Yeah.
255 AD asked another question. Should Starfleet have gotten past the old military thing where even junior officers automatically outrank all non-commissioned officers?
I mean, should they? I mean, I've never served in the military in any capacity, so I don't know what that would entail. But I mean, um, I just as a completely uneducated layperson, I mean, I think there's probably some wisdom in having a difference between people who are serving who just enlisted and people who actually went through years of training to be officers. I mean, I feel like there's some distinction there. Now, maybe if once you get like a certain amount of experience as an enlisted person, if you, I mean, maybe if they could make it
Well, he's
easier
talking about
to,
non-commissioned officers.
well, but I think he would, well, but I mean, would that would be somebody like O'Brien, who is I mean he never actually went to the academy. He's enlisted. I mean, yeah, he's a
Right. And
non-commissioned.
and his point is that O'Brien has more experience and yet Bashir ranks him.
Right. Yeah. Even though Bashir has, yeah, but O'Brien has more experience in Starfleet, more years of service than Bashir has. But the other thing is, as far as Starfleet and Star Trek goes, I mean, O'Brien is literally the only character of note in the entire franchise who is a member of Starfleet who is not an officer that I can think of. Like there are no other major non-commissioned officer characters who are members of Starfleet in Star Trek. I mean, maybe somebody else can think of one, but it's like O'Brien's
They're few and far between.
yeah, almost every Starfleet character is an officer. So it's really in terms of the way the show runs, it's really not that important because the writers, for whatever reason, just tend to pay way more attention to officers than to enlisted personnel anyway.
Garrett says by naval tradition, an ensign outranks a chief officer, but it has always been a class thing.
Now that makes sense because
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because
Garrett also says correct, and that includes lower decks.
yeah, that's because in lower decks they're all ensigns. Yeah, just like our ne'er do wells that we play on the ensign's log. We are officers. We went to the academy.
We went to the academy.
Which my character will be very quick to remind people.
Up to the academy.
I have actually, we need to find an opportunity for me to do that this season. Now that we've jumped ahead to TNG, so I can brag about my century out of date academy education.
Can you do it to O'Brien?
Yeah. Oh, 255 AD. Yes, you're right. In the original series, Janice Rand is a yeoman, and she is not commissioned. She eventually comes back in the movies, and she has gone to the academy and earned her commission. But in the first season of classic Trek, Yeoman Rand is enlisted, so that's a good one. Yeah, but she's a very memorable character, but she's only in a handful of episodes, and then she's gone. So
Yeah, Radical Bacon. It used to be you had to buy your commission. Yeah. And we talk about that in Bloody Jack, where she talks about how Randall buys his commission.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Wait, the Royal just died? Oh, like in real life. I thought we were talking about the show. Sorry. But yeah, there should definitely be more just like rank and file characters. I think that would be great. I mean, not that I watch television all that much, but
well, and it would be. I mean,
that's a good question. What rank the nurses in sickbay are?
I think I think we see Nurse Ogawa in TNG and she has a rank. She's an ensign, but I think a lot of them, if you just because in TNG, especially in the early seasons, you'll see like sort of extras in the background as Starfleet people, and they don't have any rank insignia at all. So I would presume that those are enlisted crewmen. So I would imagine a lot of the medical staff are probably enlisted personnel.
Yeah. Yeah. Lupus Regina said we see other enlisted serving under O'Brien, but never as important characters.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, they're definitely they're present in the ships. Like we can see that they're definitely there. They're just the show doesn't care about them.
And he got a shout out, by the way, from
Yeah, that's
Norman.
right. So we know at least one, other than O'Brien, we know at least one other enlisted
One
personnel
crewman.
on, thanks to the ensign's log, crewman AAE.
So
So, and yes, Norman Ogawa did have a rank. Ogawa was well, I believe she was an ensign. Yeah. So, shall we jump back into this?
sounds like it's time.
All right, everybody. We are going
Woohoo!
to jump back into it. I'll count us down from 3, and we will resume the episode. And once again, I'm paused on Netflix at 32:35 remaining. So if you need to sync back up with us, that's where you go. 32:35 remaining. Thanks, Some Random Geek, for dropping that in the chat. And here we go. Ready? Ready?
Yes.
Okay.
And waiting.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1, play.
Oh my God, they're creepers. Oh my God. Oh, bad, bad. No. Two 55 and D, you say that only because you haven't read the Bloody Jack books. And now she comes out. Fighting.
Who invited you in?
Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't. Oh.
They're making themselves at home.
Oh. 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 Oh no, please. Oh God. I don't want to. No, 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 no.
Oh, wow. This is difficult for Dana.
Oh, I don't. Then I've got subtitles on, so this doesn't even allow me to escape.
Wow.
Oh gosh, this is so weird and gross. Please leave. Oh my God, this
wow,
is so
that scene was way more uncomfortable for you than I thought it would be.
Oh, that was awful.
Yeah, Sarah has the right idea. Bodyguards, please escort these jerks to the nearest airlock.
Like, seriously, how old are they supposed to be? Are they 12? 11?
13, maybe.
Oh, gosh.
13 or 14, I think, for Jake. All right, time for some hot Syrah action.
Is he going to dance?
Dance, baby, dance.
No, you know, Syrah cha-cha.
Makes sense to me.
Because it's hot.
Oh, I hate these old man stories. They take forever. Now coming down the aisle, hailing from the twisted pit of chaos. Guess that tricorder's not such hot shit after all. Can't even detect a cloud. The Dalrock is right. We suck. Garrett, I like that. We're easily led. Now they got that anti-Dalrock beam working. Never mind. Well, you take your hand off those Dalrocks for a second and they'll bite you. Let's let it play.
Okay.
That was a brief segment.
Yes, in fairness, it was very exciting though.
Oh, yes.
Lots of shaving foam.
And the Dalrock is here. Come on. Not you, you loser. And despite all our rage, we are still just a rat in a cage. To dance. David Cedric. Come on, O'Brien. Just channel your inner Union man. Sarah, expecto bolognium. I love that.
And that's why it is a shaving cream on shaving foam, shaving cream monster.
Whichever.
Shaving monster.
The shaving cream has returned to its can. Oh, no.
Hope you're planning on sticking around.
Yeah, no, not it.
Nose goes. Have fun, Steve.
Cardinal Doomsday, that's it. Oh, there are some quality puns tonight. K, Syrah.
It's convenient that I have a Star Drifter right here in my hand.
I'm literally holding the drink you randomly came in and ordered. To party. Well.
Honestly, I mean, I don't think her acting is all that bad.
No, it's fine. I mean, it's just the
It's just
character is as it's
it's the
written. I mean,
writing.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's the writing. It's the dialogue.
Yeah, Garrett. Yeah, like it's theater school 101. It does. It is a little elementary, isn't it? Well, and it's just her motivations are so straightforward, and she's just she's saying exactly
Not
what's on her
given a
mind.
whole lot.
Yeah.
Dibs.
I said dibs, Jake. Hi, sweet cheeks. Damn it, that was stupid.
Oh gosh. It is a step above yes and.
So I hear you're having a border
Oh
dispute.
gosh, please. Why does this have to be part of the story? Why? I don't like this is why this isn't a good episode because it's painful.
This is the
Sarah Scott, exactly.
the stranger
Exactly.
danger duo.
Oh, please. Ah, ah, ah.
A problemtunity.
Uh,
I think your dad's a piece of garbage. I just yelled at him in his
yeah, well, I
office.
just talked to him and he wasn't all that helpful.
He,
So
he basically just told me
your
to,
dad can just,
yeah.
suck it.
Fuck your dad, Jake. Your dad's what? You think your dad's so great?
Or just punched him in the face, Chris Kringle. Gosh, or even just told them to go away because they're weird. Shut up with. Can we talk about some of the other? Is she in a dress? And I mean, is she sitting or is she
Yeah.
crouched? I
No,
don't know.
she's sitting, but I think she has like
I'm not in a
leggings
dress.
on.
Oh yeah, she's got leggings on.
Yeah.
Or like tights or something. Oh, thank God. I did. I don't know, Chris Kringle. Green booze is best booze.
Bashir's like, I'll take them. Bring me the gifts.
O'Brien suffers.
I love how Bashir just completely leaves him fucking just, flailing in the wind there. It's not even that good of a story, dude.
No, the solution is simple. The Surah chose you. You are now the Surah. Choose somebody else.
Choose somebody else. Hey, buddy, I choose you. Oh, he's grumpy.
He wanted to be chosen.
I want to be the Sarah.
He liked the girls.
Those should be my Syrah groupies. Mine.
Well, yeah, but and Sarah says it's funny because they are offering them for sex. Not necessarily the case. I mean, they may have been like, okay, so who wants nookie with
Uh,
the Saran? They're like, hey.
3, 2, 1, pause. Yeah, and I'm paused at 1841 remaining. So. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's very cringy. But you know, it's not it's not necessarily non-consensual. I mean, they could have been, you know, like you said, like I mean, like you assumed it to be groupies.
Yeah. Well, it seemed like I actually, I mean, you know, it's 1993 and we have to keep that in mind, but I mean, I thought it was nice that this source of the humor in that scene is O'Brien's discomfort. Like he didn't mistreat the girls and he didn't act like he was, you know, repulsed by the idea, you know,
Uh-huh.
of like of being with, you know, a concubine or you know whatever. He just was like, "Oh, no. You just this I'm not into this." You know,
How do
it was
well also how do I turn them down politely?
yeah, and
You
yeah,
know,
exactly.
nicely without saying, you know,
He didn't
no.
he didn't
Yeah.
denigrate them.
Yeah.
You know, which, yeah, I mean, that's maybe a teeny tiny victory, but given how sex workers are often sort of depicted as, you know, the scum of the earth in movies and TV
Again, we're
shows, like,
the assumption is that they're sex workers. They may have just been, you know, hey, you know, here's somebody who, you know, you're the Sarah, and they're just like,
that's
hey.
true. That's true. Yeah, yeah, like I said, groupies. Yeah, absolutely. 255 AD, I don't know if I would guess it was CGI just from how it looks, but it could be a practical effect. I mean,
Yeah.
I can imagine ways they could have done it as a practical effect, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm sort of assuming it's a CGI effect because it is so nebulous and it would
Yeah.
have been, you know, would have been feasible to do with mid 90s
It,
CGI.
yeah,
Was
it,
this mid 90s?
this was 93, so early to
Early
mid 90s.
90s,
Yeah.
early to mid.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks like what I would expect a CGI effect from like this
Yes,
level of a production
exactly.
would be from that
Exactly.
time
Yeah.
period. But I don't know. For like I say, it could very much have. It could easily have been a practical effect. They could have, you know, poured some dye into some water or put some smoke into some water and filmed it that way. I mean, there's ways they could have done it, but I don't know how it was done.
Yeah, Lupus Regina and Azalea Jane. Yeah, that gave me much more of a Wiggins than the girls did. You know, the whole, well, not just foolish natives who believe in spirits, but foolish natives who cannot see that, you know, the power comes from them, not from the storyteller. I mean, it's like so obvious in the, you know, framework of the show that they're just like I mean, completely oblivious.
Yeah. Well, and it is. I think Sarah mentioned earlier that like the Bajorans in this episode are very different from the other Bajorans that we typically see throughout the show, and that's one of the strange things about this episode. And I don't necessarily think it's to the episode's detriment, but this village it does seem like it's just an island unto itself. Like it doesn't seem connected to the rest of Bajoran society or culture or anything at all. It's like, and yet they knew to call for help, like they knew to call Starfleet for help, so it's not like they're completely isolated, but you really get the sense that they're just like over here in the corner doing their own thing,
Yeah.
you know.
Chris Kringle says they need the storyteller to coordinate their power. It doesn't come across that way, like at all. It like, because it's not a call and response. Like you have, you know, they're not, they respond, but you know, not in the sense that they're waiting for the storyteller to help them coordinate and focus their energy. Like they get scared by, you know, when the storyteller is not there. They're not just like storyteller, and you know, it just, yeah. I don't know, is overly primitive, just ignorant and oblivious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oblivious. Yeah. Like they don't seem to understand that they're not looking, like they seem to think that the power comes from the storyteller, not from
Right.
them. Like when it seems completely obvious that It's when they start chanting and believing and the power flows. I mean, it's so obvious, and yet that's not what they don't see the obvious.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if that was the intent, they didn't do a good job showing it at all. So, and then God, snake bit cat. Yeah, when you said, I now see that it was the complete erasure of the B plot from my memory, was why I love this episode so much. Oh God, yeah, the kids. Oh, the kids. Oh,
Yeah.
See, in fairness, I teach 15 and 16-year-olds. So, I get some of the romantic drama, but it's not usually so like, what the heck is wrong with you level of cringe. It's
Yeah.
I tell my students, look, I will absolutely listen, especially if you're done with your work, but my romantic advice is generally dump them and move on. That's about it. That's I mean, come on, you're like 15 or 16. If you're not happy, I mean, you're not married.
Right.
Dump them and move on. There you go. Problem solved.
Yeah, you're 15.
You're 15.
You're 15.
Precambrian Lullaby timestamp. We're at 1841 left on
1841
Netflix.
left. Yeah, 1841 left.
Something like that. Some random geek. Thanks for putting it in the chat.
Random, yeah. 1442, 1440, or 1842,
14 will matter.
14, 18. You'll throw. Yeah, just whatever.
That's whether they're legal or not, Steve. Come on. That's whether somebody is an adult and can sign up for a credit card or something.
14, 18. What's the difference?
Credit cards. That's what it is in our capitalist society. That's the difference.
The amount of debt you can have attached to your name.
Exactly.
Yeah,
well, Azalea J, not just dump him, you can do better, but dump him. You don't actually need a relationship. I mean, especially at 15 and 16, please think about who you are and who you want to be. That needs to be your no, and realize that it's going to change down the road, but it's such a pivotal time. Oh my God, bless their hearts. I love them so much. I didn't get to be with my students today, and I miss them, which is weird because I mean, it's like one day in the middle of the week.
Yeah, 255 AD asking these plot questions. Why didn't Julian just say, "Hey, this is a technologically advanced planet, and we have a spaceship. I'm going to take the old guy to a hospital."
Because he's literally said he's dying.
Yeah.
He's just dying of old age. I
mean, and also, I mean, it's for the same reason that the villagers act the way they do. It's plot convenience. It's because it has to go. Certain things have to happen for the story to move forward. They have 45 minutes. To tell this story, and they're just like, all right, let's get this thing moving.
Caitlin L asked that whether I saw it, does it make it any more bearable that at the end the girl says she just used Jake to learn stuff about Cisco and put up with their crap amusedly. Not so much really, because I didn't find her behavior nearly as just oh God, please stop as the boys. Oh, Lord. And why haven't any of the scientists on Bejor studied this? Heck if I know.
Because they just made it up for this episode. I mean,
because they should have and didn't.
And good night, Sarah. Sarah's tapping out.
Oh, good luck. Good luck on your
have a good day tomorrow, Sarah. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Norman, Sarah, you still have to watch the rest and provide
Sarah,
data.
Please come on Friday. Please come on Friday for Read Away, and because we have an activity at the beginning.
An activity.
Yay! Those boys. I mean, they're not. They don't come across as intending to be pervy. They come across as obnoxious,
presumptuous,
and entitled. Yeah. And ignorant, seriously, weren't you raised better than that? You don't just go up to somebody's freaking bedroom
and then just walk in.
Oh my gosh! No.
Did I black out and invite you in? I don't remember inviting you in.
I teach sophomores for a reason. And I was like, even the freshmen aren't that bad. The freshmen are not that bad. I don't work in a middle school. God, I don't work in a middle school. Yeah. Me at 15, 16. I just worked on the school newspaper a lot. That was it. That was my life. That was me, Steve. That was me pre-Batman.
I mean, that fits. I can very easily imagine that. You didn't really, I can picture 15-year-old Dana being, Ms. School Newspaper. It doesn't. It fits
Lois
you.
Lane.
Yeah, absolutely. Hell yeah.
Yeah, as the whole like her dialogue, the boys. There's so much about the storyteller. Oh, dang! This had so much potential.
Yeah.
And that's probably going to be my ending, and we're slightly more than halfway through. That's probably going to be my
Yeah, I have some thoughts on it too, but I'll save them for the end. But and by the way, Caitlin also looked up on Memory Alpha. It was a practical effect. They made it with
someone already
smoke.
said that in chat.
Yeah.
Green box.
Yeah. It's a smoke effect. So yeah.
Okay.
All right. So shall we jump back into this?
Let's go.
And once again, we're paused at it's 18:41 remaining on Netflix, and I will count us in, and we will get back into this episode. So here we go. In 3, 2, 1, play.
Hey, at least they waited.
They waited until she said come in. Yeah.
Of course, the door waited until she said come in.
That's true. I can teach you how to get around the parental lock on websites. Let's get drunk. Oh boy, Nog's full of himself. This isn't going to end good.
Oh. Oh, here we go.
Oh no, you killed Odo. I made you think you killed somebody. My outfit does suck. I should change.
And we're laughing because the script says to.
Oh.
Trouble You're only in trouble if you get caught. Gotcha. I'm in trouble.
Oh boy, now it's double trouble. Right this way, son. Busted.
Blah, 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 blah. I didn't do anything.
I don't know. That's the whole point of this conversation. She damn well better. I love what an evident great time Bashir is having with this. Like the more uncomfortable O'Brien gets, the more delighted Bashir is.
You want to know why people think you're annoying? That's why. Oh, and then we pan to the one who was standing apart,
lurking in the shadows,
in the very brightly lit shadows.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, no cigars. God damn it.
So disappointing. All these gifts. Couldn't they manage a few cigars?
Mm-hmm. Hey, what's that in your vest you're reaching for? I mean, we're treating this like a big reveal, but honestly, and just let it play. We'll just let it play through the break.
It is poorly written.
Chris Kringle, yes, the knife does look like a seam ripper, doesn't it? He was always gaslighting me. I'm glad that old bastard is dead. So they're not very creative. It's just a big cloud. Good luck, buddy. Let's get out of here. God, this is like a farce. All these people coming in. And the rest of your clothes. Aw. It's bad enough I have to work in pajamas. Now I have to wear a robe too. No.
I think she's doing well.
She's doing fine. Yeah, as far as her
Yeah.
acting, she's doing fine. Yeah. No, we didn't get along. That's not me telling you what to do because that would be a clear prime directive violation. But it's called a timeshare.
That was good, Steve.
Thank you.
Loretta Reyes, we have not finished watching it. We're at about almost 6 minutes left.
Yeah. Oh, but I can't. We're all going to die.
Screw you.
That look he gives Julian is amazing. Yeah, good luck. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Prick. I like your line there, Garrett. And on this dull rock I shall build my church. I love his hand gesture there. Let's really focus.
Okay, guys.
Last time, everybody together.
The leader's now okay with him.
Yeah. Hey, and he poured in a storm.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, that's a good one, Joe.
I'm just gonna dump that.
Yeah, whatever. He's like,
he just fucking drops the
he's
robe.
like, I am out of here.
And he just drops the robe. The important robe that the other guy was
Yes.
not allowed to wear is just over there on the ground.
O'Brien and computer, beam us up now. Cardinal Doomsday, that's exactly it. The village is a Simpsons mob. That's exactly right.
Silly Jane. Okay, people, today I want to talk synergy. Oh, she's got a headband on. Ah.
The poke that Cisco gives Jake. I love it. Oh, thank God. Can you imagine if we wound up being best friends? Ugh. And that's it. End of episode.
Yeah, a lot of missed opportunities there.
Yeah, so
I will say,
yeah.
the second guy, he did his bit as a storyteller well,
Yes, well, I have two thoughts about it, and the first thought I have is one that I had before we watched it because I was just thinking about it earlier today, and I mean, it's the title is the storyteller, and the A plot is about the Syrah who is he tells the story, but really it's not just storytelling; it's acting.
Yeah, it's presentation.
It's yeah. It's not that the new guy there at the end, the rightful Syrah. It's he
Well,
has a he has
but it depends on what you mean by storytelling. Like oral
because that's a part of storytelling.
Involves
Yeah, that's a
acting
part
to
of
some degree.
storytelling.
Like he's not taking on a persona or anything like that. He's not acting in the traditional sense. I mean, the actor is obviously, but the character is not. It is oral tradition.
Yeah, he's using the power of rhetoric, and so I think it's interesting that it's sort of a tribute to the power of
A
the
story.
of story and of the
A
ability
good story well told.
to give a good speech, you know.
Mhm.
But also, yeah, you mentioned like a lot of wasted potential. Maybe a more, and we're going to get into rewriting the episode, which is not necessarily what I think a critic ought to do. But if we're going to do that, there's a really obvious plot that suggests itself that I think might have been more interesting than the one that this one has, which is the the thing that is created to unite the village is a lie. Like the villages, we're told the origin story about why this happens, and it's like, well, the village, they were being torn apart, couldn't get along, there was disunity, and then the first Syrah created the story to bring them together, and they frame it in a very positive way, but really they're just feeding these people a line of bullshit. Like there is no monster, there is no Dalrock, the
Yes, there
jeopardy.
is.
Well, but it's only because the orb fragment creates it. Like it's completely manufactured jeopardy, a manufactured threat, and that and
I'm not sure the orb is still creating it though. That's not clear. He said he used the orb to create it.
but I interpret that as meaning that every time that the orb creates it every time. But maybe not. I don't know.
It's
Maybe it's
I mean,
taken on a life of its own at this point.
yeah. I mean, it just it doesn't.
But
Yeah.
the idea that that their story and their sort of village myth is an invented falsehood that was like crafted specifically to control them, um, even if it was for a good reason, even if the result was they have a more harmonious village, like it's kind of like the ending of Watchmen, where it's like this incredible lie is created, which is wrong and leads to a lot of death, but it's done to avert an even worse fate that is
Mm-hmm.
depicted as having been inevitable, like especially in the Watchmen comic. You're really led to believe that like nuclear war is inevitable. Like it's only a matter of time. Like there's going to be a major nuclear exchange between the Soviets and the United States, and it's going to kill billions of people. So what Ozymandias does, even though it's horrible and an act of mass murder, is not as bad as that would have been, and
Mm-hmm.
it brings people together to avert that much worse catastrophe. And they could have done something on a much smaller scale, but in the same kind of theme with this episode if they had decided to go that way, but they didn't.
So, but at the same time, you could argue that in revealing the truth about the Dalrock, I mean, you're essentially exchanging one story for another.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
I mean, so in both cases, it's about the need for, we need to be united as a village. And I think that the second story, works. It just, again, it and it although why again my issue is the villagers not noticing that the power does not come from the storyteller. It only happens when they support the storyteller. Like
Yeah,
it's so obvious. Like
and after how
how
many
do they?
generations of this, like,
Yeah,
yeah,
like there's no
how have they not figured this out?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then why was there hatred and division in the village, and how has this one this 1 week of unity takes
Yeah.
care of
Yeah,
all dissent for the rest of the year? Everybody gets along for the rest of the year? No, sorry, that's not.
there's a lot of weight that is carried in the premise that we just sort of have to buy into for the episode to get along.
Yeah,
Um,
you just got to put up with it.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's because well, I mean, and one of the problems with the episode, in addition to what we've been talking about, is, I mean, it's difficult to sort of put your finger on what it's ultimately about. because the character who has the big breakthrough in the episode is not one of our regular characters. It's the guy at the end, the rightful Syrah, who steps up and takes over. And that's a nice
Well, as
story,
well
but
as the leader of the village, who's like, you don't deserve da, da, da. And as soon
yeah,
as he steps forward, before he does anything, he starts supporting. Because I mean, if he doesn't support this new guy, then they're still screwed. He
yeah,
changes his mind as well.
yeah.
And
But
they don't, and there's no focus on that at all.
no, they're not. Yeah,
But
exactly. That's my
he
point.
is
They're
right
not.
up in front, and but the
Yeah, that's
we don't focus on him. But yeah,
that's my point. Those characters, and especially the second Syrah, I mean, they have the big sort of moments of change, but they're not centered in the story at all, and they're barely in it. So it's mostly an O'Brien Bashir episode, and neither one of them really have. I mean, it's fun.
yes,
Like the Bashir O'Brien stuff is really fun, and to see O'Brien be uncomfortable and Bashir kind of be really amused by his discomfort.
smug.
Yeah, there's some really great character moments, but
Eh,
they don't make any really meaningful choices. They don't really drive the plot at all. They're
yeah.
just sort of there to be like our into this story about the village.
They're the snakies, the two Muppet guys.
Statler and Waldorf.
Thank you. 255 AD asks a really good question. Would a smoke monster fix hate and division in the US? No. You
No.
know what it does? It distracts. That's all it does. Racism existed has existed in this country since before its inception as a, United States. But 9/11 got us to focus on something else. Didn't mean that racism and sexism and all of our other problems weren't still there. The division was still there.
It didn't actually fix any of our underlying problems.
Hate and division. So no.
In fact, it probably, in the long run, it probably made some of those problems worse because it distracted
because we
us.
just blamed brown people.
I wasn't even thinking about that, but that's a great point. But also, it just for the mere fact that it distracted, we were completely thinking about other stuff for several years, and all the racism was still happening, but we weren't worried about it. Like as a culture, we were focused externally. And we told ourselves like, oh, we were all on the same page, we were united, we were one nation, but really we weren't. And all those problems still existed. We just didn't pay any attention to them at all.
Yeah. Caitlin L asks, I wonder if the new guy is going to cash in on those favors that O'Brien turned down. I think it was an interesting flip flop that we're set up to believe that he just thinks that he's entitled to that he was supposed to be chosen and O'Brien was chosen and did
this was that's why he was an apprentice.
But also he didn't just work for him. Like he knew the way it worked.
Right.
And, he and it's more about him proving himself. Like he wants to be the next Syrah. He knows, he knows what he's doing. He actually does know. He knows how to do this.
He knows he knows how the tricks are done. Yeah.
Here's comes this guy who how did he say he'd worked with him for like 7 years?
Yeah, he said something like that. I can't remember what the number was, but
I can imagine like if I'd been teaching for 7 years. I mean, at 7 years, I didn't know as much as I know now. I was getting to the point of starting to be comfortable with my classroom. But having somebody like a complete newbie brought in and being told, okay, this person's going to be in charge of your class and, we want you to observe and learn from them. I would just be like, oh, okay.
Is that how it's going to work?
Yeah, I would not be happy.
No.
And especially, being pulled back from teaching, like when that's what I care about and that's what's important to me. And that's what I've been, and also that's what I've been doing. Like, you don't study to be a teacher and like practice it like from a master teacher from 7 years. I mean, your student teaching experience is an incredibly valuable experience, and it's like a semester.
Yeah.
And then it's
there's not like a long apprenticeship.
Yeah. But I mean, just, boy. I mean, because he does, he believes in the power of that story, and that matters to him. And, when taking on that role and bringing the village together in that way, that's sort of Oh boy.
Yeah. Um, I, if you want to keep interacting with the chat for a minute,
Sure.
I'm gonna go get a piece of birthday cake.
Birthday cake, Steve. Happy birthday. Go enjoy. Okay, so I'll take
Yeah.
banning you since you claim not to be an anarchist. I will take 25580's question.
Am I lying? Okay,
I think you're just wrong, Steve. But I mean, you know
about
how that
myself
is.
and my own political identity. Okay, I'll be right back.
I didn't. Go
No.
ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm going.
Great. Now I can say whatever I want. Ooh, exciting. So yeah, I totally think Steve is actually an anarchist, and he just clings to the vestiges of, needing some kind of I think a lot of it, he's really laid back and he likes having that power structure there to fall back on, even though he doesn't really make use of it himself beyond just, being straight white male. Okay, so FDA to ban menthol cigarettes. Thoughts on that as an anarchist? There are way more important things to be concerned about than menthol cigarettes. The A plot is based on the man who would be king. Gosh, I get that mixed up. That makes me think of the guy who didn't want to be king, and then the bird, or no, the boy who didn't know how to be afraid. And then so he like goes through all these harrowing things and ghosts and dragons and things like that, and then he comes up to this village, and the man in front releases a bird and it comes over and it like lands on his head, and they're like, the king, and then he knew fear. Empire Jeff, that's terrible. Now the trash talking bits, Corey, it's always been going on. I will try. Jason and I trash talk Steve relentlessly when we record the Ensign's log. It's so much fun. I think it's because like Jason and I have really only just met, and so but we've both known Steve for a long time, so we're not yet at the level of comfort. Oh man, he got back a lot sooner than I thought. Yeah, I know, Garrett. It's hi, Steve.
Hello.
Okay, shh, stop, everybody, stop. Okay, yeah, we're good. So, okay.
What were you talking about while I was gone?
What your birthday cake looks like?
Oh, it's just I got pizza from Cafe del Sol tonight, and they also have chocolate cake on the menu, so I got a piece of chocolate cake. So
where's the candle?
Oh well, I mean, I'm sure there are candles in the house, but like I don't know where they're at, so
Well, I mean, do you have matches?
Presumably, but again, I'm not really sure where they're at. So I was.
Well, do you have a flashlight?
I do have a flash. Oh,
okay,
here.
Okay.
I'll turn the flashlight on my phone and I'll stick it into the cake.
No, because you can't. You have to just turn it on and then shine it on the cake, and then we'll all sing to you. Okay, it's shine on the cake. Okay, all right, everybody, you ready? You ready? We're gonna sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Stevie. Happy birthday to you. Okay, blow out the candle.
That is some DIY birthday cake candle shit right there.
Oh, okay, yeah. 250 every day is just rolling with the questions. And I ask, what kind of pizza did you order?
It was
Joe McClory. You might need more flame than that.
Because I'm old. See.
Well, really, you only got one piece, and it's really difficult to stick 41 candles on a cake.
I don't know,
let alone a single.
41 candles ain't gonna fit on this cake.
You probably don't own. Well, I mean, if you smush it and spread it out on the plate. Oh God!
What?
That is copyrighted.
Oh, it's fine.
I mean, you're a big shot, Steve. I mean, the YouTube lawyers might come after you. Of course, they might take the video down. That's what they do. You can just take the video down.
I'll just silence that part of it so that it'll just be you going.
That's right. I keep forgetting that's actually copyrighted, which is why it's never in movies or something. They sing something else.
Exactly.
Uh,
Um,
oh wait,
but yeah.
here's one that is not, to my knowledge, copyrighted. To my
Oh,
knowledge, of course,
okay.
you'll have to look it up. Maybe there will be another strike or
Look it up
another thing.
after the fact. After you sing it on my channel.
Well, I don't know that they could copyright it. I mean, can you copyright can you copyright I mean, well, okay. So here goes. You ready?
Go for it.
This is your birthday song. It isn't very long. Hey.
I love that.
No, I'm not envious. I had Papa John's. I like it. It's good. I like the pizza. So, in fairness, I also haven't had pizza from Cafe del Sol, so I'm not 255 ADS if I was jealous. Not, but I mean, I might be if I'd had Cafe del Sol pizza.
It is
but,
it's really good pizza.
And what kind did you get? What kind?
It was it was a vegetarian pizza. But it was the toppings were, and I think I've talked to you about this because what I really love about it is I always get it with olives, and the olives have such a beautiful sharp, like, I mean, the olives really come through really strongly. Those olives and I think red pepper and an onion, I think, were the
Michael
toppings.
Bacon says we're good. That real happy birthday, traditional happy birthday, recently passed into the public domain. That's one of the ones that probably like just went in like last year. I remember hearing about stuff going into the public domain, but
Yeah,
why was like happy birthday not at the freaking top of the list? My gosh, that's like monumental.
there is a story behind that. I don't know exactly all of it, but that the copyright of that has been disputed for a very long time.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's okay, Caitlin. I knew what you meant. It's all good. Happy birthday is public domain. Oh, I'm so happy about that. That is awesome. Oh, I love public domain. I love public stuff. I really do, which is why I'm an anarchist.
Oh, and you know, Dana, I don't know if I told you this or not, but I think this year, no, 2020, my favorite movie, Buster Keaton Sherlock Jr., passed into the public domain. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
Now it belongs to the world.
Not that I don't think anarchists should be concerned with drug laws. But it would have more to do with I would be more concerned about legalizing cannabis. I think, it would be more of an issue. And then that's just, whether or not drug laws should exist. And I think, there are more practical ways to focus your efforts. I do think regulation needs to be a thing, given that we live in a capitalist society and people want to make a quick buck because, they got to pay their bills too. And also, people are greedy and want to use, and money is power, and it becomes a power issue. So, part of the reason that I support legalization is because I also support regulation. And I think that, being an anti-statist, I think that can be done on a social level rather than at a state level, but there should be the expectation of consistent product, which is a current problem in like the CBD and the I don't want to say recreational industry because I don't know about that a lot about that, but just in the in like CBD oils and products, there's like, even from the same supplier, you can get, massively different grade of products. And because my best friend, her husband has Crohn's, and so they were able to he was able to get some relief from that through, I think, butter was what they got their hemp oil, or not hemp, but cannabis oil in. And we visited them, and they went, that was sort on their grocery runs. We went and got stuff together, and that was one of their stops. And I was just like kind of checking things out. And she asked about something or other, and they said they weren't working with that supplier anymore because they had mixed results in what they got from them. And I mean, some of that is like, it's still developing as an industry. And so figuring out what those regulations should be, what the expectations should be for product grading and things like that.
Yeah, I'm very much a legalize it, regulate it, tax the shit out of it person when it comes to when it comes to drugs.
I'm not really a tax the shit out of it kind of person. I think, yes, it should be. I mean, I think it should be treated very similarly to alcohol. Do we pay like ridiculously high levels of tax on alcohol?
Not typically. I mean, I guess it varies state to state, but I mean, taxes on alcohol are less than they are on tobacco, for sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, it doesn't. Well, of course, I live like right near the state line, and I don't notice significant differences in prices whether I buy in Tennessee or I buy in Georgia. So, radical break-in, that brings up a good question. What's the difference between legalization and decriminalization?
I can answer that.
Go for it. Thank you.
Decriminalizing usually just means that it's no longer a felony. That if you, like, for instance, if in Maryland there have been efforts to decriminalize marijuana possession, and I think marijuana possession and smoking in public, I think, have already been decriminalized. Where you still, like, if you're caught doing it, you can be fined, but it's not like a felony. You won't do prison time for it. So it's not legal in the sense that you can just do it however you want. You still have to pay some kind of penalty, but it's not a criminal penalty.
So when we say decriminalize sex work, you still have to pay a penalty.
But if that's the way, if it's meant in the same way, I mean, Garrett just said that that's not how it's meant by international law standards. But I'm telling you, like in Maryland, that's when they said we're going to decriminalize pot. That's what they meant. That it's no longer a felony.
Well, then shouldn't it be defelonize?
Yeah, that would probably be a little clearer. Yeah, like a speeding ticket. Jim Baker says, like, yeah, exactly. But
I don't think it should even be that. I don't think
so. You would say you're saying legalization,
legalize it, and regulate it, and I would say that the same thing. I would say there should be similar standards for sex work, just like we have for other work. There should be there should be standards for occupation, occupational safety and health. Right. Sex workers should have an expectation of, I don't know, safety.
Oh, absolutely.
So, absolutely. Okay, I have no problem with that. Just like, to show that, you have some level of training, you have this level of training or experience or licensing, especially in terms of, services that you're willing to provide or able to provide, that sort of thing. Especially in terms, I do think that experience and training matters. I realize, especially in sex work. There are, it's a skilled job. And, it would be hard to do, and treating it. Yeah. And it's the legalization and decriminalization are used differently in different contexts, as Philip points out, and removing it from criminal laws and treating it like any other work.
Right. I just before we continue, actually, let's not continue because we have 5 minutes until 8, and I do want to get out of here in time to watch my wrestling show. I don't know. Do you have your family Zoom tonight, or are you?
I don't know. Nobody said anything about it, but at the same time, so last week, Mom asked me about it at like 5 of 8, and I said, okay, let me set up the Zoom, and then she didn't come. But I talked to Mom today, so like I literally went and visited after I went to the dentist. So I think I'm in the clear there.
So yeah, We want to mention, you mentioned it already, but let's mention it again. This
Yes, yes.
day after tomorrow, Friday, at
Da,
starting at
da,
6
da.
Eastern, is our we're starting our next book for Read Away. It is The Other Westmore, and you, Dana, have a little bit of an activity for us at the beginning of the
Yes,
show. So
yes. So I'm really stoked. So make sure you bring some way of like either pen and paper or writing something down, or putting it in your phone, or recording just, I mean, a number in a letter. Like, it's going to be a short list, but I want you to keep it, because we're going to come back to it each week, and we're going to talk about it's a survey, and we're going to talk about our responses to different items on the survey. Each week that we do Read Away for The Other Westmore. So especially if you plug it into your phone, then you can kind of see, we generally have those with us pretty often. Or if you're, on your computer, save it as a file on your computer or something like that, so you can go with it. But it's going to be really quick. It shouldn't take real long at all. And then we'll get into talking about chapter 1 of The Other Westmore.
yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
I really hope so. And don't forget, charity links and all that good stuff.
Charity links in the description, charitylinks.page. Help out some of our friends who need a little bit of help. Please, yes. And also, don't forget Dana's YouTube channel, youtube.com/Dana Coldares. You have you just had a video go up on over the weekend, right?
Yeah. And I have another one coming up tomorrow.
Which is your Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah, I need to read the description for that sucker, because it's scheduled to go up, and right now I think it's what was the title of that? Is the
your video file was called Stupid Austin Video, all caps.
All caps.
If that gives you an idea. And by the way, for anybody who hasn't been watching those, this one that goes up tomorrow, especially, and I feel bad because you're obviously not having a good time reading the book. You're reading Pride and Prejudice, and you're sort of video blogging your reactions to it. And I'm
tired of reading it, Steve.
This one,
I'm not liking it.
Oh, this one that goes up tomorrow, your frustration and your aggravation with the book. It's not fun for you, but for a video viewer, it is absolutely delightful. I mean, it's
well, I'm glad somebody's enjoying it, because it wasn't me.
So if you want to see Dana have just at the absolute end of her rope with a book, check out that video that goes up tomorrow.
How many more pages? How many more chapters?
It's such a good video. And your failure video that went up last week was really, really good too. I highly recommend that one. That's such a good video.
Well, this time of year I talk about that a
lot. So check out Dana's YouTube channel. Check out us on Friday for Read Away, and also we'll be back next week for another Trek Reluctantly. We'll be watching Firefly. The episode is Heart of Gold.
Wonder what that's about.
Which is a great Neil Young song. I'm just saying. Anyway, it's time for wrestling to start. Dana, thank you so much for joining me as always, making this a happy birthday. It was a happy birthday for other reasons too, but it's also a very happy birthday because I get to hang out with you and watch Star Trek and hang out with all of you in the chat too. So thanks everybody for coming.
Great. Enjoy wrestling, Steve, and thanks everybody so much for spending this time with us. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.